Welcome back to Let's Make a Game. In this video, I would like to talk about for loops. For loops are a way of telling the program to run through the same piece of code several times with a particular variable that changes its value each time. So I'm going to show you a very simple example, and then I'll show you an example that is more like something that we might use in an actual program. So here we have a passage where we set up an array using the square bracket end square bracket, as we talked about in the video on arrays. And here we have the for command. It starts here, it ends here with this /for. That slash is often used to indicate the end of a particular command. So you'll have the beginning of a command, you'll have one or more lines of code, and then you'll have this slash and the name of the command to indicate that that's the end of the code that is covered by this command. So the for loop begins with the less than that we're probably familiar with by now. For, F-O-R. Then we have the name of a variable, $z equals 1, semicolon, $z is less than or equal to 10. That's what less than followed by an equal sign means, less than or equal to. Another semicolon, $z plus plus. So what does all that mean? Well, the for command means we're going to run through whatever's between the for and the /for several times. In this case, there's only one line, but there could be any amount of code in there. But this is a very simple example. And we have three specifications. One, what does the variable that's changing start at? And what variable is it? Well, it's $z, and it starts at 1. How long do we keep running through the code? We keep running through the code as long as z is less than or equal to 10. And what do we do at the end of each run through? $z plus plus. Plus plus means add 1 to the value of that variable. So we're going to start with z equal to 1. We're going to keep running through as long as z is less than or equal to 10. And we're going to add 1 to the value of z at the end of each run through. So what are we going to do in the actual run through of the code? Well, it's very simple. We're just going to print the current value of $z and then a line break. So the way that this will work, it starts by looking at this. Set z equal to 1. Okay, next, it looks at this. It says, is z less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. So I'll run through the code. Well, the code is just print z, so it should print the character 1 and then a line break. At the end of it, it adds 1 to z, so z will now be 2. It asks itself again, is z less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. Runs through the code again. This time it'll print 2, adds 1 to z, asks itself, is z less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. And so it will keep going. And so what we would expect to see there is simply that it will print 1, then a line break, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10. And then it will finally say, is z less than or equal to 10? No, it's not, because we've just increased it to 11. So we'll continue with the rest of the code in this passage, which in this case will be a line break and a link to continue. And we see that if we run the program, that's exactly what we get. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then this link to continue to the other passage. Now, that of course isn't a very useful piece of code. Why would you want to print the numbers from 1 to 10? Well, of course you wouldn't. It's just to demonstrate what a for loop does. What I'm going to look at in the next video is a for loop that does something that we might actually want to use in a program. but it looks like we've run out of time for now, so I will leave it there. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.